So welcome back. Today I'm coming at you with a kind of a different video. We're gonna talk today about Twitter beef between me and the main man. Unfortunately, due to copyright issues, I don't know if I can post the original tweet, so I'm just gonna not do it actually. There was me saying on Twitter that he hopes that guest characters won't appear in, I think, Tekken 8. And the main man responded that 6 million people are getting robbed of cool guest characters, and that he thinks that because they're only problematic at the highest level of play, they shouldn't be removed. And of course a lot of people responded that Negan and Noctis are not a problem at all. Then Nee, all of a sudden, who is a very polite guy, made a hilarious tweet saying that not 6 million people wanted them to come out, and that he just said what he is wishing for. And the scrub, wait, hey, hello ScrupMan, will you shut up? But he actually said scrub with P. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's from scalp, or I don't know. I want to give you an opinion. I know those two players play way longer than I do, especially Nee, who's been a legend since Tekken 5 DR. He's like the best Tekken player of all time, in my opinion. And if I'm honest, I think he was the best Tekken player in 2.19 and in 2.20. No offense to Aslan Ash though. And where I want to start is, I wanted to make a similar video, that's why I will cover both things. I watched, it's like 2 weeks ago, the final between Aslan Ash and Nee in 2019, and when I saw it, I was really getting pissed. He played Kazumi only using down forward 1, back 2 and jabs, and Nee tried to play Devil Jin and couldn't get anything going, not because he's not as good as Aslan, but the style that Aslan plays is very, very pesky to deal with. He's a great Tekken player, one of the best who will ever touch this game. And of course, I cannot understand the mind games that went into this. They even played a lot of matches together, so you don't know why he did what he did. But seeing this, back 2 really offended me. Seeing how often it covered more than 3 options with this move, how he used it, I felt like Nee has to be so pissed. A player who is extremely known for his movement, for his patience, getting really, it looked like he's getting outmashed all of the time. He couldn't get anything going. You can see Nee is a player who really don't likes to duck. He likes to space himself in a situation where most lows are not going to reach or are very bad choice. So if someone relies on those too often, they will get heavily punished. And he has so deep knowledge like no one else in this game. He can actually read those lows because of his spacing. But you saw him ducking jabs because he was so annoyed. And I never see him do that. Aslan didn't use a lot of lows, but you saw him ducking in his face after one jabbing because he was so pissed. And this is kind of because Tekken went into a way where it's very boiled down to a lot of 50-50 situations. For instance, if I hit this move, I am plus 18. Down forward 1-4 from Kazuya, which is a very bad example. There are a lot better examples, down forward 1 from King, for instance, or down forward 2. After this situation, even though it creates a huge pushback on hit, it's kind of a 50-50. Plus 18 is where you not want to move. And there are moves like King's down forward 1, like I mentioned before. If he hits you and he does another one, you just have to hold it. You can't backdash, you cannot sidewalk it, you cannot sidestep it consistently. So it's just like you have to take it. And there was legendary Mihawk showing that he played Dragunov against Eddie's Zafina, and all Eddie did was sidestep right into low parry all the time. And Dragunov didn't have any answers for that. The only answer was to verify his various timing with just one little input. And Dragunov's entire tool set was almost gone. That's how the game is nowadays. A DLC character can move around anything, while a stable character has to get in situations. In Tekken Tag Tournament 2, being -6 meant that I can still backdash a lot of options. I can still sidestep some options. And there wasn't tools that covered 3 to 5 options, like King's forward 1, like Julia's forward 1, like down for 2 from Kazuya. So many things that these moves are covering. You just have to worry about one cut and dry answer to it, and then of course you have another tool that covers this option. So what it came down to is that Arslan Ash just was better in deciding which option he should use on hit. And that's really the case because Ni couldn't exploit movement like he used to do in other Tekken games. I think when Ni would play Arslan Ash in Tekken 5 DR, I don't want to start any drama because I'm not into Tekken that deep, but I think Ni would smoke him. Like not smoke him in 3-0 manner, but you would see a clear difference. Because there, even though the game has broken frames, the movement is even more broken. And when you see the trend from Tekken getting very simplified gameplay-wise, for instance, take the health sweep from Kazuya, where it's just a 50-50 between a 4-4-4 and another health sweep that is right-timed. And before, you had a way deeper mind game where Kazuya had to dash up stomp if you stayed on the ground, which is very, very slow and very strange, or he had to use down back 3. But people don't want to think. Oki is completely gone, which in my opinion is stupid, like very, very stupid. And because Oki was complicated and rewarded players for labbing their own character, and I get that that is kind of toxic. Of course, it is very annoying if you're playing against a Julia and he does a throw and always gets guaranteed damage afterwards because you don't know how to deal with the situation. And it's not a bad idea to kind of reserve Oki for characters that need it as a strength to revolve their gameplay around. Take Kazuya, for instance. But why does forward 4 have to be safe, long range, counter hit? It covers backdashing, it covers sidestepping in some manner, it covers pressing buttons on wake up. This is like a solution for almost 6 situations. Why is that so? Why? I mean, it can be good. Just let it be a solution for 2 situations, and that's enough. Make it a 3-gate mixer. But that's not the case anymore. In Tekken nowadays, they are finding moves that find solutions for every weakness of the character. I'm just waiting for Claudio getting a +5 low without sidestepping. I'm just waiting for Geese getting a low that is +5 without sidestepping. What is this move? Like seriously, it tracks down stepping, and it's a safe mid that is super quick. So it's kind of a poking tool, even though it's -9. What is this? And on counter it gives like huge reward actually compared to the risk you're taking. And I really don't like that. And I think players like me are very, very offended by people saying that this is the right direction for Tekken, because he played this game for so long and he felt he knows better how the game should function because he knows every layer. I think Ni knows the game better than the people making this game. I swear, hands down. One thing I have to say though is Tekken 7 is very beginner friendly, but still rewards players who go to the lab. So they're kind of balanced in that regard. And a lot of things that Ni is referring to is not applying until you really get to a point where Tekken is a full-time job and you're one of the 1% that plays this game at a high level, at a really, really high level, at top level. And I think for those people, Tekken is becoming way and way more simplified and boring, to be honest. And of course, if you earn your lifetime money with this game and all the things you learned over 2 decades are kind of start to get reversed or just not exist anymore, then you can get very angry. Imagine playing an Akuma and getting death combos, and you're playing in a tournament for 80,000 bucks. Like, of course you're gonna get pissed. Do I think that guest characters are annoying? Yeah, I do. Akuma is annoying, but that's not Akuma's fault. It's the fault of the developers not giving the whole rest of the cast a consistent way of dealing with his demon flip. If they should have done, because Akuma on paper, they did a very good job now to like turn down his neutral game and him relying on this big damage combos. The only exception is down 2 because down 2 Hado is still broken. They did a decent job of that. I hated Fort 4 for that. Fort 4 was such a good tool from Akuma in neutral that you felt like he doesn't even have to rely on meter. He could just spam this all day and then sometimes go for a down 3, and if he wants, with down for 1 and then knock you down with this. And then you felt like, okay, this character is just good with meter and dangerous without meter. And I don't have a problem with a character like Eliza that it's good when it has meter, but she sucks when she doesn't. But Geese was, for me, a problem since the release. Geese is a hybrid character. He plays very, very good Tekken. His neutral was good. Even when he was released in Season 2, his neutral was broken, in my opinion. Jabs that have almost no whiff recovery, dig jab combo that at the wall killed you, his down for 2 was there, his sidestep 4 was there, which is now even a combo starter. And the only real weakness that the character has is only his sidestep 3 is a good low, the rest is very dangerous. And his range punishment without bar is pretty bad, so you can actually abuse that. But now they made the character boring to watch, the damage is too high, and it played in the right hands, even though he's not as popular because they turned him down. I still think he's very annoying to deal with. And that's because he is a Tekken character with the benefit that if he has 2 meters, he can kill you with 1 touch. That's all it is. His down for 2 and his sidestep 3 alone are so decent that if he just revolves around them on wake up and places his jabs right, you're gonna feel the pain playing him. And of course, Negan and Noctis are not problematic, but they're full Tekken characters in my opinion. They're stance-heavy characters with not a lot of gimmicks revolving around them except for Negan's power crush that goes into a full combo. So in my opinion, guest characters can stay how they are, only exception is Gee's damage, but they need to get something that holds them back. I see some people's suggestion that they cannot sidestep. I'm not sure, I just would make the demon flip fly lower so you can have a consistent way. While standing 2 on block shouldn't be a mix-up. That's one thing to make it very, very easy. That shouldn't happen. If down 3 gets blocked, it shouldn't be -7, even though he burns his meter, in my opinion. That's not correct. I-15 frame low shouldn't be +7 if he wasted it. And there are many other things. But coming back to the topic, top players are just pissed because they're living from this. And if things happen that they feel should never happen in Tekken, of course they get angry. But now we come back to the main point that I want to talk about after rambling about season. One last thing, I'm not even gonna cover Season 4 balancing because it's a joke. And I hope Mishima Star loses his job and gets replaced by someone who actually understands this game. I'm dead serious. He is like, okay, just forget it. Do I think that players like me should decide how balancing is done? Because there is like 5 people who understand the game like he does, and the rest of us is playing a different game basically. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that was shown in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 with Eddie. Top players didn't consider Eddie that big of a problem, while everyone else, pointed out by the Mayan Man very good, that everyone else had an issue with the character and that at middle to average level of play he was kind of broken. And I have to say, I felt like I played Forsaken a lot and I felt he was broken as well, even though I lapped the shit out of the character. And of course for me it wasn't a problem, but for almost everyone else. And then the funny thing was, when John Ding destroyed whole Japan with it, then all of a sudden all the pro players admitted that Eddie is annoying to play against. JDCR admitted the character is annoying. And then the whole mentality of just lap the matchup was fading away, and everyone said like, what the fuck is this character? So I have to say, I don't think people like me should decide the balancing of this game, because even though he understands the game deeper than everyone else, for casuals, balancing out the game, balancing does not equalize fun. And you need to make a split between the game being fun and the game being competitive. Of course, people like me bringing a lot of attention and a lot of viewers to Tekken in the Asian country and around the world, of course. But the main man also brings a lot of attention to Tekken, even though he doesn't understand the highest level of play. Sorry, I don't want to offend the guy, but that's just how it is. I, as well, don't understand the highest level of play most of the time. So what he's saying is, okay, maybe for your 1% this is a problem, but the rest is enjoying it, so why should it go? Just take more time to try to figure out how to beat it. The problem is, people like down to from Akuma, you cannot figure out how to beat it. It's just perfect. It's a perfect move. And the move should be there, and everyone knows that. So I think that the only one to blame is the balancing team. Both of them have a very valid point, and in my opinion, top players should not be the ones who dictate how balancing is going, and I think tournament results also should not dictate how balancing is done. Just because Kazuya is not very represented in high level of tournament play because he's too execution heavy does not mean that you need to make his hell sweep track both sides and his electric being unpunishable online or even offline. Or his electric all of a sudden has random tracking to both sides. That's not the solution. And the other thing that I have to say, the last thing before the video gets too long, is it is very difficult to make balancing that actually is fun for casual players, because casual players enjoy destroying opponents and enjoy doing dumb stuff. And of course, if you go by that rule, you need to give them things that simplify the game so they win more. But the best example for this is actually Gigas, for instance, or Miguel in this season, or Lei. Lei is not top tier because of Snake 4-1. He's not top tier, but he is hella better than before, and the change is fun. I like playing Lei now. I played Lei in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 a lot, but with this change, I really enjoyed playing him, even though I'm not gonna beat Aslan Ash with him. Or Gigas. Gigas changes are so fucking fun. And I know they're gimmicky, and I know when people will figure them out, he's not gonna be good again. Or Lars, for instance. That's actually, when I think about the best change, I think. Lars neutral didn't change. I would like to give him a little bit more, but what they did to him is they buffed his low a little bit, so it's a little bit more viable in down back 1, I think, is it? But if he launches you now, if he lands a successful sidestep and launches you, he actually gonna let you pay for this a lot. And this is hella fun. Doing wall-to-wall combos without heavy execution looks fun, is fun to do, except you're the one who's getting hit. And it's like a good feeling. And you have a character with very good punishment who can launch at 14 frames. So people that actually can punish with them very good get heavily rewarded. That's the kind of balancing I want to see. I want to see that I never had an issue, for instance, my main training partner is a Kazuya player, and I don't have an issue getting launched for 95 damage and dying by the next mix-up. I swear, hands down. I have the issue when I'm sidewalking left, what I'm doing for 5 years, and all of a sudden I'm getting clipped by a health sweep or an electric. That's what I have a problem with. Let him have the high damage output like Mishima's always had, but let them work for it harder than other characters. Let them not get away with whiffing electrics 25 times in a row. So please let Mishima Star revalue his situation. No, I'm joking. Just think about making balancing more fun but more fair. And I think both of them have a very valid point, but I think the casuals need to be heard as well regarding balancing. For instance, Yoshimitsu's balance is actually good. I like the changes. He's not OP, but he's fun. And Kichu is no real threat. That's good. See you in the next video. Please leave your comments and your thoughts down below. But please be nice and don't roast each other. You can roast me, but don't roast the other people.